Noontec is a company that originated in Australia in the year 2002. Their primary goal is to bring elegance, fashion, and high quality to their designs. In this review, I have the Zoro 2 wireless on-ear headphones, and let's see how they perform. Now here's the packaging for the Zoro 2 wireless on-ear headphones. To the front you have a model wearing the actual headphones themselves, various technology icons and their trademarks. The box is relatively straightforward, clean. The back you have a quick description of the headphones themselves in various languages. And there is a flap here which gives you a brief showcasing of the headphones themselves. And some more features here on the left. So let's open this up. And you have a plastic piece here for protection. You have your headphones themselves folded up. On the bottom you have the carrying pouch. You have a quick start guide. You have the micro USB cable for charging the headphones up. And then you have your 3.5mm to 3.5mm cable for a wired connectivity. Also in the microphone here, it's a one button control. Now for the headphones themselves, it's pretty straightforward design. They fold like here's for storage so it can collapse upon itself. Headband adjustment is very nice because I like how it's an individual click so I can get that precise feel. In terms of the maximum extension, it's pretty adequate. It should fit most heads. No guarantee. I don't think this really extends that far though. So yeah, I think that's the max. So I don't know, maybe if it's an on-ear, it shouldn't really matter too much. In terms of the padding, it is a synthetic leather. For me, it was fairly comfortable. After about 1 to 2 hours, they will either heat up your ears or maybe develop a sore spot because it's pretty much a continuous caliper pressure that's being applied to the ears. On the left side, you have your power on button, play, pause, answering phone calls, hanging up, putting the phone calls on hold, and you have your indicator here which indicates the Bluetooth connectivity. Right now it's connected when it's blinking like that, and then it also shows you the battery life, I believe, when it's charging. On the right you have your volume up button and your volume down button, and these buttons also double as the music control. So if you hold the top button, it'll skip forward the track, and if you hold the bottom button, it will skip back the track. So actually this button is just play and pause. It doesn't really manipulate the skipping forward and skipping back. So the controls are pretty straightforward. On the bottom left you have your standard 3.5mm input, and on the bottom right we have your standard micro USB input. The Zoro 2 sound quality is overall very smooth with minimal grain throughout the whole frequency response spectrum. Bass response is tight and well composed. The overall tonal balance is very linear with great extension, but it has a slight emphasis over the mid-range, which does give it a bloom effect when transitioning over to the lower mid-range portion. This at times can make the sound a little cluttered, and at times can also make the sound more vivid. So it really all depends on the song. The mid-range is full, clean, and very natural sounding. Instruments and vocals sound quite luscious and creamy. It kind of reminds me of a tube amplifier and the third order harmonic distortions that it places upon the sound. But this, however, does have a tendency to smooth over the subtle details, but in return it does greatly reduce the potential for listening fatigue. The mid-range for the most part is good, but it's sometimes kind of raw and unrefined sounding, especially in the upper mid-range. And overall, it's just a bit too forward for me at times because of the very relaxed treble presentation, in which I'll get into right now. The treble here is very shy in the sense that it's not completely absent, but it does lack that overall extension and overall presence in the lower region of the treble. This presence and extension creates that sense of air that reveals the harmonics and overlays in the fundamental tones, creating a more spacious and natural presentation. The Zoro 2's lacks a lot of this, and even though the treble is still quite clean and doesn't impose an offensively grainy tone, The overall lack of adequate presence makes the sound quite closed in and blunt. This can be a positive thing when outdoors, when you must raise the volume to compensate for environmental noises so that listening fatigue from treble won't be a serious factor. But for me, I find the treble too far relaxed for critical listening, and thus my overall enjoyment is kind of reduced. But in summary, this is a good headphone for those who primarily listen to modern music loudly and wants an affordable headphone that has wireless capabilities and a very long battery life of approximately 35 hours. If this review has not covered anything you were inquiring, feel free to ask in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my abilities. Thanks for watching. Later.